Hello, everybody. Whoops, I forgot to take this down. There we go. Here I am. Hey, all. It's Kate Richburg, and we are live. It's Wednesday, the 19th of August. Can you believe that? I can't believe it. There we go. I think that lighting's a little bit better. August is flying by. It's great to see all of you here. We just got back from our bead retreat this weekend. Miranda's out today. She's taking a well-deserved rest. So if you're waiting for and here's Alfred. If you're waiting for some responses from us, we're just a little behind. So thanks for that. We'll be back on all cylinders tomorrow, but we're getting everything all back in order after the retreat. It's great to have you all here. Good to be here. I have a fun project for you today. Let's see who's here. Let's see who we've got. Yes, Nancy, wasn't it fun? We had such a good time. It was really great. And there's Sue. Look, so many people are here. It's so great to have you all. So I wanted to let you know a couple of things before we get going. And I'm looking for the link here. We had such a great time in San Juan Bautista at our fantastic retreat. All of you that joined us, it was really, really fun. We had such a great time. I had a couple of announcements that we made during the retreat that I'm going to share with you regarding retreats. Nothing, don't panic. So for our San Juan Bautista retreat, this past retreat was our last one, at least for a while. Getting together and getting everything together and inviting, 25 of our, customers, not inviting, but 25 of our customers coming, and all that entails has been a good run, right? We've done it for almost, I think this is our 9th year. So much fun. It doesn't mean that retreats are going away. It means that there are going to be some new retreat experiences for you. First of all, there's going to be another in 2027, right? It's still 2026. 2027, we are planning more retreats here in Fresno, like we did the metals retreat. It was, we've got some plans coming up. So as soon as I've locked in those dates for 2027, the dates, what we're going to be doing, all of that stuff, I'll release those so you can make your plans. Okay. As Janice says, Frez, yes. And those of you who are watching, who came to the metals retreat, it was so much fun. We had such a great time. And so we've got some fun things planned for you right here. Right now with this, with our metals retreats and stuff, and there'll probably be some kind of bead thing going. A big thank you to Danielle Wicks, who joined us at our bead retreat this time. So it's going to be good times. So I promise you, more good times and retreats are coming. We just put San Juan Bautista on hiatus for now. I'm not saying never again, but I need a little break because it takes all of our energies. I also have something else planned for you that I want to share. We are doing, how every year I do my France retreat. Well, I'm also taking a hiatus from France. this year, or next year, 2027. And do you see that URL right down there? Can you see how that says Tucson 2027? Tucson 2027 is happening. A Tucson retreat, my friends. Yes. Tucson, where I bring metalsmithing back to Tucson, plus how to shop the Tucson shows like a pro. So my buddy Jen Cushman and I got our heads together, and we thought, you know what? We love going overseas. We love France. I love sewing in France, but I really, really have the itch to do the gem show like I want to do the gem show, and take people around around the gem show like I want to do it, right? So Jen put all of her magical mind to it, and so it's going to start, I think it's January 29th to February 4th. First 2 days, shop in the show. Last 3 days, creating on site. I have some great things lined up already. A big shout out to our buddy David over at Pepe Tools. So it's going to be pretty amazing. So no, I'm not going to be at Kim's jewelry studio. It's all on site, just us. It's a retreat kind of center. We had already put out pre-sale to some of our retreaters who had been on my retreat list previously. So the on-site spaces, the stay on-site spaces are sold out. But we have day passes. You'll just have to get your own lodging in Tucson. It's exactly the same experience, only you won't be sleeping on site. This is kind of our beta year. We're going to see how it goes. Next year, if it goes well in 2027, we'll be able actually to get the whole space and have a giant space where everyone can stay on site. It's going to be amazing. So if you go to soulstirmagic.com and you go to Tucson 2027, you'll see everything that's happening, the itinerary, all of it. We have room for 20. We have 12 spots sold out already. So if you decide you want to come, get in there, pay your deposit, find a place to stay in Tucson. It's going to be good times had by all, I promise you. So that's what's going on with our retreat world. Beadshop retreats will continue. We're going to do some here in the Fresno area. And then we've got Tucson. It's going to be like an old school Tucson experience. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, as I say, it's going to focus on metalsmithing. I'm bringing my torches, all of it. So you'll have to bring a very minimal amount of tools. It'll all be provided. I'm turning our space into a metalsmithing studio. You know how I like to do a metalsmithing studio on the road. So that's what's going on. This will also be in the newsletter, the link, but I have a feeling it's going to sell out pretty quick. So the link is there. We're excited to see you. And again, as soon as I get dates for what's happening here in Fresno, I'll release those so you folks can make your travel plans to come here. We had a lot of fun in the premier retreat here. And so I definitely want to do it again. So that's our plan. That's our story. We're sticking to it. Today, so now let's get to what we're going to make, what we're going to create today. As you know, our Beadshop buddy, Sarah Little, was here last week. She was helping us get a lot of stuff ready for the retreat. Thank you, Sarah. We couldn't have done it without you. And I had her work on some of the looming projects that we had, the looming projects that were looming. And if you've watched the live broadcast for the past few weeks, you know that I've been doing a lot of looming, which has been a lot of fun. I had one piece that was kind of the last of the looming that we were going to do, the one with the leather. And so I gave it to Sarah and I said, Sarah, I need you to finish this up for me. Before I flash it, there's a couple of Tucson. So Linda, right now we are doing the whole experience. We're not doing any partials, partial shopping or partial metal. But stay tuned to the website if we decide to. We want to make sure and fill all of the spots completely with people who want the whole experience, and then we'll look at that. And Clarissa, there are no spots left for staying on site. There are 8 spots left for staying off site. So you will have to get your own lodging, but everything else will happen. Shopping, classes, extracurricular activities, all of that. Okay. But on-site is sold out. Okay, so let me add this camera. Here we go. So I handed this piece to Sarah and I said, Sarah, work your magic. So she did. And she finished this section. Remember, we'd been working on this. Okay. So we had finished this portion up here. I want to talk about how I taper it down here. And then I handed it to Sarah. And Sarah is the queen of the snake knot. So she added snake knots at the end, right? Aren't those gorgeous? So that's how we're going to close it. And then how we're going to finish it. I might put a button. I'm not sure, but all will be revealed shortly as I work on it. Okay. So I want to start this one kind of from the beginning. So we talk a little bit about weaving with leather. Here is the warp here is done with 0.5 millimeter leather. And then this weft going from the left to the right is also done with 0.5 millimeter leather, though you could do it with heavier leather if you wanted. It's also perfect. I don't know. We have a few left. You guys grabbed this up, so thank you for that. We did a mix. I always like to do a mix kind of in honor of my home space there near San Juan Bautista. This 6/0 mix is called Fremont's Peak, and it's 6/0. It's gorgeous, if I do say so myself, and it is perfect for looming with leather. Oh, and thanks, JP. It's in the Knot Pendium. I appreciate that. I should have probably linked that, but when I do the project page, I'll link it all. You know, Janice is still in California visiting family, friends, and I'm still decompressing from our fun weekend. So, you know, so we're getting there. We're getting there. So here's that Fremont's Peak. And here is, it's a fun mix. I love it. So this is the 6/0. So KM is asking, while I warp this board, we have a question about how much would you sell a bracelet like this for? So that's really a question that you need to think about. First, what I would do is I would get my materials and I would figure out, and I have a spreadsheet that I do this on. Make yourself a little spreadsheet. Put your cost of goods, right? in there. And then I'd make one and I'd time yourself, right, to see how long it took. And then I would, so you have that number, okay, your time plus materials. Then you have to toss in some kind of profit in there, right? So whatever percentage, whatever like percentage of your overhead, however you calculate what you want for your profit, right? And then play around with, put it all in a spreadsheet and play around with different scenarios. Like with these pieces, if I were making these to sell, and it's how I do like anything that I create to sell, like my bags, my jackets, my necklaces, I'll palette them all, right? I'll put my beads out, I'll put my components out. And then what I would do for this, I would warp my board, maybe put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setups, 5 wraps, 5 warps ready to go for this. And then I would start and I like to batch my work. So I'd batch my work. I'd start in the center, put my beads on, and I would do all of my weaving of my leather in between. And then I would go to my 6/0. So you really maximize your time, right? Because when you're making to sell, time is money, 100%. So, so maybe, take an average of your hourly wage that you're paying yourself, and then figure it out from there. But that's my, because it varies. It varies from where you are selling, from, what your margins are, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. So what I do, I've got this 0.5 and I do have to update Shop the Show, unless Janice, you can add this to the Shop the Show, collection. But what I do when I get my 0.5 millimeter, because this is the skinniest leather here, right? I run it through my fingers just to make sure there's no like little break or nick or like skinny spot that I feel isn't going to be very, very strong. And this leather all looked great. Okay. Thanks, JP. So I'm going to warp my board. I'm going to come in. Let me lift this kind of way up so you can see. You can also see my very messy space there. But I'm going to put my little end of my leather here. And this one has 4 warps. Okay. So I'm going to wrap this 4 times. 1, 2, there's 2. Here's 3. And here's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that means that this is 4 beads across. Okay. And I wanted an even number. So that's what I got. All of my tools, you guys, are still packed. And I don't have Miranda here to holler at to get me a scissor. Hang on a second. Let me see what I can find. Here we go. I've got a wire cutter here. That'll work. Okay. So here, I'm going to come in. I'm going to make sure that these are all laying side by side. And I'm going to come in I'm going to tighten this up, not too tight. And slide that under and tighten it. Okay. So I've got my warp threads here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, let's get a little tighter in here. There we are. Now, I'm going to space these out like so. So they're ready for my beads. I've got my beads, my 6/0 right here. In the sample, I used the 2 colors we used in the Romeo and Juliet wrap bracelets. The Picasso blue and then this kind of light Picasso tan, I think it is. With this one, I'm just going to use the mix and I'm going to have it mixed. Okay. So where I start with this one is I start in the center here, and I'm going to start in the center with my 0.5 millimeter leather. So we're going to put those 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. I knew I had one too many wraps. This is 5. I don't want 5. I want 4. Sorry. I was seeing it and I'm like, that's not right. Let me just untie this and take one out. Sorry, I can't count this morning, I guess. My brain's still on retreat time. Let me take this one out. There we go. 4 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 beads across. Okay, does that make sense? It does to me now. Apologies for that. But easily remedied. There we go. All right. So here we have it. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. There's my 3 bead spaces. All right. 4 warps, 3. This is Janice Distress Light Brown 0.5 millimeter. Is what this is. And I'm going to do the warps with those, and I'm going to do the across weft. So I'm going to get 3 beads of the 6/0 out of my mix. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now, what I do here is I'm going to find the center. So I've used 1 nest of the leather. This is 4 yards. So I've used that to warp. I have a little less. I would wrap this. It wouldn't take, what am I trying to say? It wouldn't take as much cord to wrap this because I had this extra wrap, okay? And for this portion, this weaving portion, I do about 2 yards. So this takes about 1 yard right here. And this one, the warp portion or the weft that I'm weaving back and forth will take about 2 yards, okay? So I push this up towards the center like this, and I'm going to bring my thread, my leather back through it, just like we do regular looming. I think I used a big eye needle, which I can grab, but this will work. Okay, because I want to lock these stitches or these beads in with my first bunch of stitches. Okay, so there that is. And this makes everything sit nice and even right here. Now on the sample, let me show you the sample. Okay. So Sandra's asking, it's a good question. Is there a reason you wrapped your leather around the board instead of clipping it to the edges? Yeah, Sandra, I want my tension to be nice and even and tight. Had I clipped it on here, I wouldn't have very tight tension, right? So when I loom with a board like this, I wrap it all the way around. You can also, if you're doing a longer piece, you can move your threads. I'm not going to do it here, but you can pull your piece around the board as it gets filled. Plus, you're going to need those ends for the snake knot anyway. Okay, so that's what I do with those. So you can see here, I started with just that single row in the center. I think I am going to do a couple more rows here. Okay, let me straighten that out just because I want to make it a little different. Get in a little tighter. So let me get 3 more. Plus, I'm doing a mix, so I'd like to see the mix of these seed beads. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to clip this edge. And I also have a collapsible eye needle in heavy. I think these are heavy, these guys right here. I'm going to use these to help me weave my beads in. You don't have to. You saw that it worked, but it's helpful. Okay, so I'm going to come underneath here. Like this. See, that comes around. Let me get this needle. And then I'm going to pass this leather back through. This mix is gorgeous. If you haven't picked it up, pick it up. There are some beads in 6/0 that we don't carry that I just loved. And the 6/0 mixes, I think, are a lot of fun, and they just are such pretty beads. I'm going to come in. I'm going to do one more row here. This, I know I said I started in the middle, but since this is set up to weave, I'm just going to weave it down like this. And then I'll weave going that way with the thread as well. So let me put one more row here. I'm going to try and get some different colored beads. I can't remember how many of these, how many different beads are in this mix, but I might have had one repeat, but it doesn't matter a bit. Okay, so here we go. Tighten it up so it goes tight on that edge. And we'll just slide this needle right on top like that. And then these go through. Okay. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do some plain weave. Over, under, over, under, or under, over is what this is. And then coming back, under, over, under, over. And you want to make this weave pretty tight, but not so tight that you're pulling in these edges too much. Okay. So let's keep going. in weaving terms, this balanced warp, or balanced weft rather, this kind of over under thing, is called plain weave. So that's what we're doing here. And I kind of pull it up. Now you could, because we want our tension to be kind of nice here, so across, right? So I'll maybe put my awl there to kind of help me. And then I'll kind of push this up with my fingertips. And just visually, we want to make sure that that weave is, you know, not too smushed together or anything like that, right? So we'll do that. Hold it, pull it tight, but no smushing. Okay. And this one. Get that edge nice and even there. Like that. And you can just, you know, you can see it, that it looks nice. There we go. I'm going to do, I don't know, maybe, let's see what 3 more look like. Get that in there, place it nicely, push it up. Doesn't that leather look pretty? Right? Doesn't that look nice? Oh, thanks, Margaret, for asking. Yeah, our coffee tip jar, it's right on the top of our YouTube channel. I think it's also on our homepage. I keep saying I'm going to make it more prominent, but I will do that. Always something on my to-do list, right? There we go. But thank you, Margaret, for asking. And you can have this weave go as long as you like, but look at how pretty this is. Isn't that nice? I really like it. I'm going to stop it there for the moment, and I'm going to turn it around, and I'll weave this one down. Okay, so we're just going to be going in the opposite direction. Okay, so we'll just do that. How many did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I did 5 passes. So we'll do that, and then we'll assess. Okay, we'll assess. This is the natural or distressed light brown, I think. It's really pretty. You can really see the weave, you know, the stitches are really defined, right? Janice is saying, whoo, just found my charger. I thought I left it at the retreat. Janice, same. When I got home, I had to do some computer work. I was trying to be really mindful to make sure that I had put it away. But we are always so discombobulated the week after the retreat. So thanks for, you know, sorry if we're a little late on answering your emails and, you know, but Emily, she held down the fort. Emily too held the fort down here, she and Chris, while we were gone. So packages got shipped, kits got made, all of that great stuff. So we really appreciate, you know, we are the smallest of small businesses, you know, so we really appreciate your understanding of small businesses, or especially of this small business. So see here, we're going to place that nicely. So I must have gone back and forth 10 times because 5 and 5, right? So, yeah, Janice, I'll find the, let's see, YouTube. Here it is. The link is right up on top. Sorry, I should, there we go. Here it is. It's right at the top under our description. And it's right here. There we go. We really appreciate you for that. Not necessary, but always appreciated. So we will go here. Almost there. I'm just taking my time today. I'm not worrying. I think you folks are enjoying seeing this weave. So thank you for that. Yeah, we have a lot of great colors of this 0.5 millimeter leather. Not a lot of folks carry the 0.5. I think because people sometimes maybe, I don't know what to do with it or whatever. We love the 0.5 millimeter leather. I love weaving with it. I love knotting with it. We've done, you know, wrap bracelets with it. And we carry a nice variety of it, right? We also have the 1 millimeter, which is one of Janice's favorites to ladder with. And then, of course, the 1.5 and then the 2. So here's this and tighten. And 2 more passes, I think. Okay, just like this. And I want to grab the sample because I want you to see I did the weaving in a different colorway than I did the warping of the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more pass. And I like it because you can see some of the warp threads underneath the leather, you know, the other color. So you've got a little bit of a color contrast. So there we go. There's 5 and 5 right there. That's it. And then, hang on. Yeah, it's all there. The coffee site is up and running. So thank you so much. Okay, there we go. Okay. So here is, I used the distressed green here. And then I wove, this is with the violet, I think, like this. Okay. Now I have a decision to make. Okay. I will start weaving with my 6/0 here. Now I need to figure out, am I going to move to Ceylon, which I did here. I did this in Ceylon. But I do have a lot of, since I used 3 yards instead of the 2 yards, I have a lot of leather to weave with, but maybe I'll switch it up. I'll use the Ceylon because I like the way the Ceylon looks. Plus, I want to show you how to glue this down. Okay. Oh, Connie, thank you so much. What a kind comment. I appreciate you for that. Thank you. You know, we're all good at something, and I'm good at thinking up ideas, I guess. I guess that's my superpower. I'm going to do 2 more spaces here. And as I close this off, let me show you how I get, how I cut this away. So I'm going to add some GS hypo cement here on that warp and that warp that I'm going to go over. Okay. Then it's a little too tight. There we go. Then I'm going to come in, I'm going to weave over that glue, over, under, over, under. I'm going to slide that up so the leather's kind of glued in place there. Right? Now I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to add a little more glue back here, just on those warps. And this. Oh, thanks, Donna, for asking. You know, I put up a little tip jar. It's called Buy Me a Coffee, KOFI, because people have been asking how they can do that. So that link sends you right over to our coffee site. And you can, I put it there again, you can, completely optional, but you can leave us a monthly tip. You can subscribe like some of you do. A big thank you to those who have done this monthly. Or you can just do a one-time, and a big thank you for those who do that as well. We really appreciate you. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to add a little more glue back here, and I'm going to let this dry. Then after, I'm really going to press it in there. After this is dried on the back, I'm going to go ahead and cut this away. What I did, let me see, I'm trying to remember what I did here. Yeah, see here on the back, this is glued right there. I think what I did was I came back in, and I think I actually stopped it in the middle. So let me do that one more time. We've glued 3 of the warps, or the wefts, rather, from the left to the right. So I'll do that. I'll come down, and I'm going to actually end it kind of in the middle. Okay. I'm going to go over, and then I'll get everything underneath like that. Let me push this up. Whoops, I didn't. Yeah, that's right. Now I'll turn it over, and see here, I can add glue and glue right there. Slide that down, and that will just glue into place right there. And I'll add my clip. Sometimes clipping that down helps hold it. Okay. Until it kind of cures in place. Let me get that there. Let me get one more drop of glue there. There we go. Like that. And I'm going to clamp it down. Okay, to kind of hold it in place. So now let's go ahead. I added some more weaves. So, and I'll really let this cure before I cut it. And if you have to add a little more glue, you can. Let's turn this around. So how many did I end up weaving? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I will bring this around. I'll do 3 rows of my gluing. Okay. So we'll come in. Push it up. Tighten. A little more GS there. I prefer GS for this. The Zap glue will stiffen everything, and I don't want this to be stiffened. The GS will keep it nice and flexible. 1, 2, 3, 6. I'll go one more back, and then I will, and I think enough glue has kind of seeped down. So let me just for fun. One more there and there. Now I'll do that halfway. And we'll put the glue on the back, there, and there, and there. If you don't want to get glue on your fingers like I'm doing, use a glove or get a little alcohol wipe to take the glue off your fingers. There we go. So see that? That's there. And that's just going to come right in and set. Let me see if I can get the glue off my fingers with an alcohol wipe. So here's this. Yeah, this texture, the leather texture really does a lot, I think, for this. So now for this one, here's the one that I had been working on previously. You can see, I think I used copper rose for that one. You can use anything you like. I like a little bit of a contrast. I think that's copper there. This might be copper. This might be the copper. I don't know. I want something that has a little bit of a contrast, or maybe not. I don't know. This is good. This one is the medium brown. This also looks good. Maybe I'll use that. But you decide, right? What you like. And I've managed to get all the glue off my fingers with this alcohol wipe. So that's good. And let me put the lid back on the glue so I don't get in trouble. Okay. So this is the side that I glued first. Okay, so I'm going to turn this around like this. I'm going to work on this side. I'm going to reel off some, this is regular Ceylon, though you could use fine. This is the French lilac. Maybe I should use the purple. What do you think about that? So you can really see it. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use French lilac. Why not? Use whatever color you like, but I kind of like the way it looks with this mix. So I'm going to reel off about 1 yard, I think, maybe, or so. That sounds about right. And what I'm going to do here See, now this is nice and glued down. Looks good. I'm not going to cut this away yet though, okay? Because I really want to let this glue set. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get my needle. I'm going to get my 3 beads. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to bring them underneath. I'm going to start it a little further down because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one through like this, okay? Then I'm going to weave up to close this space, okay? Watch what I do. And then I'm going to weave off this end. Okay, so we're here. Going under. And one more row. Here. Okay. And I think this is why I use Ceylon, so I could weave these ends off, is what I was thinking. So there we go. I'm going to kind of push that up so it's nice and tight like that, right? Now I'm going to go back through these beads. I'm going to come down, go through the row below it, up through this row, just to the second bead. I'm going to go through here. And then I'm going to go through here. Okay. That is plenty secured now. Okay. So I'm going to come in under tension, clip that away. So now I'm ready to continue. So let me take the needle off of this piece. Put the needle on this side. And we'll do some more weaving. Okay. So underneath. Tighten that warp thread. Whoops. I didn't go under. I thought that looked funny. Hang on. There we go. That's underneath right there. Tighten it up. Send your needle back through. Let me see how many we did here. 3, 5. I'm going to do 5 rows before I taper down. Okay. So one more row. Like this. Then what I did, because we had to start tapering here, see this? I went from 3 and I just used the center ones. I put the center ones together and we went back and forth. Then we went into the snake knots. Okay. And it, because you don't want to go into the snake knot from this width, so we had to taper down. So we're tapering down from 3 to 2. So I'm going to put on 2 beads now. And we're going to put those beads in the outer two channels. This one and this one. See that? And we'll go through the top. We'll pull it tight. And it gives me a taper. And see how the center has that double strand in the center. Okay. Thanks, JP. We really appreciate you doing this moderating. So we'll see you next time. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Go have fun. Okay. So now this one and this one. And how many did I do? I just did 3. Well, Sarah did this portion, but she did a great job. And so, yeah, Lychee is asking, could I have just continued with the leather? And, you know, I could have kept going with just the leather, and then finished it off down here some way. I think I just wanted to add another textile in, but 100% you could keep weaving with the leather. You know, I don't know. That's what I was thinking. So there's that. Now I'm going to do a few weaves with just the plain thread. Okay. And it's going to help me tighten this in even one tick more, I think. We'll see. This might be a disaster, but it might not be. It might be good. We'll see. So bear with me here a second. Plus, I want to see, I want to mirror this section right here, right? So I want to see if this will add to it. And I'm going over and under. I'm treating this center strand like it's just one, even though there are 2 pieces of leather there. Okay. Whoop, I didn't go under. That's not correct. There we go. Maybe 2 more. And I think I want to end it on this side, on the left side. Look at how nice that looks. Just that little bit of textile looming, I think, looks good. So now what I had Sarah do, we thought about it, and we just came into the snake knots right here. Then we put one of those transitions right there, and then we did more snake knots there. So I'm just going to jump in. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I can't do snake knots yet. I have to do this side. So let me make the other side match. Okay. Sorry, I'm going a little slowly. Yeah. So this is regular Ceylon. Correct. This is the regular Ceylon. You could use fine if you wanted to, right? You could. But I'm using regular. So let me get that lilac, that frosted lilac. I'll get like a yard. This. And, you know, had I been thinking about this, and I'll do it on this side, okay? Let me get my, to finish this off, I have a better idea to finish off the Ceylon section. Let me get my 3 beads here. 1, 2, 3. We put them up and underneath. And then I think I went back up 2 rows, right? I think that's what I did. No, I don't need that much. I need the long end on this side. I just need a short end on this side. Okay, so I push those up in their little lanes. We will send this needle back through like that. Hang on, I gotta stand up. Too much sitting. There we go. That's better. I start to slump. And then I realize, oh, that doesn't feel good. There we go. So we'll take this short end. We'll put on 3 more beads. We'll go up 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, if you haven't gotten the mix and you want the mix, grab it today. It is so pretty. Such a pretty mix of colors. Come on. I didn't pull that other thread. There we go. Now I just need to leave enough room here so I can get 1 more row of beads there. Okay. So we'll do that. Let me put this on. One, 2, 3. Underneath your weaving. There we go. Now we'll weave this back down. So here goes that one. Here goes this row. Here goes this. Back down the center. Turning the corners. To give you a nice tight weave. So we can cut off the rest of this Ceylon right here. Okay. That's it. That's done there. All right. So now let me put this needle on this end. I need to do 2 more rows and then 3 more rows. Then I'm going to show you. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you like the lilac. Yeah, I thought a little bit of purple. You can't go wrong. And this is a really gray lilac. So I think it provides a real nice contrast. And these beads that I'm using, oh, I'm going in the opposite direction here. Hang on. I have to wrap this around the edge. These beads that I'm using there's kind of like a Montana blue, sort of a light Montana blue there. So I think it goes nicely with it. Here we go. That's catching. There we go. One more row. I'm always picking up the same color bead. Hang on. This one. And I'll grab a blue. It's not really a Montana blue. It's more of a light blue, but it's kind of a cool blue for sure. See, I still picked up all of these green beads together. Oh, and look what happened here. That bead, for some reason, didn't get locked in. Hang on. Easy to fix. I'm going to do this. I'll put this through. I don't know how I didn't quite get that caught, but I'll fix it. I'll go up through. Actually, I'll turn this over, push this down, go behind, like this, and like this. And we'll put this one on, back on where it goes. There we go. And I'll go back through all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is done. And I'll go through the back. So this will have a double thread going through, but there's plenty of room. And I fixed that without having to take out a room. So now we'll go to the two beads. One and two. That one looks a little, that size isn't quite right. There we go. And they go in the outer two channels. Put this through. It'll tighten everything up. This one and this one. So pull that tight, right? So that scoots in. Then I want to show you how I'm going to close this off. A little bit different than the other one. You get this bead. That looks good. And that one. Okay. This is the third pair. So now, once I've done this, we're going to go back. We're going to match this textile looming over there on that side. So we're here. And we're looking at how many weaves did I do? Like 4, I think, right there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in a little tighter with this camera. Because what I want to do is I want to have this piece that I'm weaving. I want to be able to weave it up into these beads. But as it is now, I'm going to have to kind of do a little trick and kind of maybe wrap it around to get it up there. But if I do this, get in a little tighter. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go down, leave a little space. So I'll go over, under, and over down here, kind of, right? Oh, I need to go around this. Hang on. Take this out. So this is going over, so I want to go under. So under, over, and under. Now I'm going to kind of make a little space here, and I'm going to weave from the bottom up to fill in that spot, kind of like I did with these beads. Okay. Tighten it in a little bit more. You kind of have to hold it. It's a little tougher to work with, but I think it'll be worth it in the end because this end will be nice and closed. So once I've got the second one in there, I'm going to tighten that in, tighten that down. We'll weave this. Whoops. Not too tight. I don't want to get it too tight. Just want to get it nice and snug. And if this is too much of a pain, then I'll just weave it normally, but I think it'll be a nice finish, right? Everything will be enclosed, and I can just weave this thread back up through the beads. I'll get my awl just like this. There we go. That's looking good. And then I'll be able to weave this tail thread right in up there. I'll do one more. And then I will go up through the beads. That looks like it's about even. I'll go underneath here. Like that. And then through. Plenty of room in these beads. For all this thread. I'm going to stop it right in between these two, if I can get my needle up. There we go. Just like that. Now this one, since I've done it down kind of like this, I've got to get it, what happened to my thread with the needle? Here it is. No? No? I just tossed it aside like I didn't need it anymore. Well, oh, here it is. Good. Got it. I just need to bring this one up. So I think what I'll do is I'll bring it around. Whoops, sorry. I'm out of frame. I'm going to bring it up underneath the center weave right there. See that? I mean, this isn't difficult either, but I think it's a little easier weaving it up. You decide what works for you. Then I'll go through there. I'll go through this one. I'll go through this one. I'll go through this one and pull it out in between the last two right there and cut it away. Okay, so now let me see if I can get this board clear. I started a little late today, so I'm going to go a little late. Whoops. Oh, really? Where did I put the tube? Here's the tube. And of course, I put my board on this little, the little bead thing. So let me just get all of these up now off my bead table. As we all know, the bead's natural habitat is the floor, so that's okay. We're going to try and prevent these from going on the floor and joining their compatriots. And let me get these. So this really didn't use much in the way of beads, right? I've got plenty of beads left here. The lid, though, that's a question for the ages. There's got to be a stray lid here somewhere. Here's one right here. Okay. So now let's come in and I'm going to turn this over and we're just going to cut this thread down the center, the leather. Okay. Let's look and see what we have. I'm going to come in now and cut away this extra leather from these two. I can always add a little more glue if I feel like I need it, but look at how pretty this is. Look at this with this textile weaving right there. I'm going to kind of push it up a little tight like that. There we have it. Okay. Now this is ready to close off. And since I did a little bit more of a longer weave or whatever, we're not going to need that many snake knots, maybe 3. But you can see what Sarah did on this one. Let me compare the length. So see, we go a little bit further. So we're only going to need the snake knots from the end there. So I'm going to go ahead and tie them. I'm going to treat, so bear with me. I have to remember the snake knot here. Just give me a second. I'm going to split these. I'm going to tie 3 knots and then we'll see what the length looks like. So with this one, what I'm going to do, and I've got the snake knot tutorial, but I think we do our loop, right? We do our loop. Okay. So we've got our loop like this. It's a little more difficult with the 2 pieces. So then I take this one and the other strand and I go over and I go under, under, and through this loop, I think. Let me see if I've done this right. No, not at all. Hang on. I might end up braiding this, but hang on a second. All right. I need to make my loop. Let me try it that way. Here's my loop on this side. Okay. And I've crossed it. And now I weave through this loop. And check my snake knot tutorial. This is looking better. I go over this one that's coming down. I go behind these two there and up through this one and down. Bear with me here a second. It's these double cords. I should have tried it with a single cord first to make sure I remembered how to tie it. I always have to go back to my knot tutorials if I haven't done them. Sarah, of course, just tied this snake knot super fast. Hang on. One more time. One more time. Sorry. Here's my loop. Like this. This is the thread I'm tying my knot with. And I go weave through this. That's correct. I go over this one. I go under these two. No, maybe I don't go under both of them. I think I go over that one, under this one. That's what I do. And down. I think this is it. Let's see what happens. Yes. I did it. I was going over one too many. So let me just tighten this up here. And I'll do it again. I had my instructions written out. And I think I had them written out wrong. Okay, here's my snake knot. Right here. Let me see if I can do it again. So we're here, right? I make my loop. I hold that loop and I weave in and out, over and under. I go under this one, over this one. No, sorry. Over this one. That was wrong. Under this one. Oh, these two. Sorry. Down there. Over this one. Under this one. There we go. And back through that loop. go. Check my snake knot tutorial though, everybody, because I am making kind of a mess of this. But let's tighten it up. Let me tie one more. Let me see if I can get it right the first time, shall we? Walk it down. I love how the snake knot looks though when it's all done. Okay, here's my second snake knot. Now we'll do one more. Turn that loop in the loop and out of the loop. Over this one, under this one, and back through. There we go. Tighten this down, walk that knot down. I think I tied the second one wrong, didn't I? Maybe that's why this isn't sitting right. I'll tell you, tying snake knots with 2 of the strands of leather is not for the faint-hearted. I'm going to try it one more time. You could also, and I'm about to do it to be honest, you could do square knots like this. Someone was saying do square knots on the end. It would look great. You could also braid this. But you know me, I'm stubborn. My snake knot tutorial is a lot better than this one that I'm kind of hacking up for you today. Underneath. Right, there we go. And over. And under this one. Now my leather has lost all its body. And through the loop. There we go. That is correct. The muscle memory is coming back. Tighten it down. And loop. And weave. And over this one, under this one, down and through the original loop. Tighten it up, walk this down. There we go. These snake knots look nice on the end too. Can you see that there? Right. Now this one, let me get a little tighter here. Sorry, I was doing all of that way way zoomed out. That's about the right length though. So when we were talking about doing the macrame, let me just show you. See if I can unknot this strand. This is where everything was knotted on the back. I could have unknotted it, I guess, before I cut it, but you could also braid it. Braiding would look nice. But if this is here, or regular macrame, if this is here, let me go a little further, like that. I'd put these center ones down like this. And I would clip this down. Then I would take these. Look at how much easier that is. And do this. This looks better even, don't you think? I don't know. This also looks good, but I want it to be even. So you know what? Adios. Knots. See if I can get them out of here. Then we'll just add a button closure like we would on a regular wrap bracelet, and we'll call it a day. I still like the idea of a snake knot, but I want this to have a nice clean finish for you. So I'll take a picture of both of these and I'll link the snake knot tutorial to the other one. Sarah Little is the queen of the snake knot. I should have practiced before the live, but I didn't. So it's my own fault. There we go. Here's this one. Okay. This is better. Let's clamp this down. Let's clamp these centers down. Sometimes you just have to pivot, right? So let's pivot. I also need to measure and see where we're at here. But I'll do like 2 of these. Let me grab a button. Right, so there's that. Let me get in a little tighter there. I'm going to grab a button. I think I'll grab one of those patina buttons. Those nice ones that we have here. Let me see. Here it is. This is. I want this button. I'm now using this button for just about everything. Let's measure. Okay, so I am going to, if this is the center, this one comes to about right here. So I'm going to do like 2 more macrame stitches here. me zoom out so you can see what's going on. 2 more. And then I got to go shortly because my mom has an appointment that we got to get to, but I will put this on. Bring this around. Do a couple more macrame knots below it. Till it goes past the button. I'll do a couple more knots here. And then I'll tie a loop for the button. We're there. I'm going to tie a full knot here to close it off. I'm just going to do these double. I could cut one away, but I like the double. That's going to go about right there. Come on. Try it one more time. Tying these knots with all these little strands is kind of a pain. There we go. Like that. And then you'll just slide it between 2 of the closures. I'm going to tie a knot on the end of this one too. So all of these are knotted. And put it right down next to the macrame. Just like that. That little short strand was not cooperating, so we'll just leave him out. This leather Maureen is the distressed light brown. And I can also put a few little beads on these ends if I wanted, but I'm not going to take that time today. So that is the closure right there. You could also use a crimp or something like that, but I think this looks real nice. This is kind of how I finished off that other looming project too. Right? So there we are. Let me pull this back a little bit. I will have this up as a project so you can see it. I'll finish this one off too, so you'll be able to see that. We'll have these two. These have Sarah's nice snake knots. Her snake knots put my snake knots to shame. So I will finish these off. But that's it. This is ready for a good screenshot right there. I will tell you, I got to run because I got to go pick up my mom right now. So I'm going to do that. Sorry that took me a little bit longer, but thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today. I so appreciate you watching and chiming in on this live. Friday, I'll have something else for you. But don't forget, grab your Fremont mix because it's limited. Or use whatever 6/0 and 0.5 millimeter leather you like. So you'll see this. I'll put this all on the homepage, link everything, so you've got all the info. So thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you being here, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, all.